The weekend has been buzzing about this new film linked to an older film. Prey, y'all, on Hulu. It's time to talk about it. Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by CritiX.com, a place where we talk about movies, television, and pop culture. And if you're into that kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe key and that notification bell so you can be up to speed about everything that I talk about here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time to talk about this highly anticipated and now buzzworthy film, brought to us by Don Trachtenberg, I believe his name is, and it is linked to the old classic 1987 Predator film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is now time to talk about Prey, ladies and gentlemen, on Hulu, which of course we all know is owned by Disney. So when this film first came about, when they announced it, a lot of people were kind of speculating that this was not going to be good because it is a Disney property now, and why would Disney want to put their hands on the Predator franchise at all? It stars some very new faces that I have never seen before. One in particular is Amber Midthunder, and the guy who plays her brother, I'm trying to remember his name, Dakota Beavers, I believe his name is. And let's talk about, before we talk about what I thought, let's talk about what this is. So this is a prequel that happens years before. We're talking like the 1700s. I believe it was 1719 was the year, ahead of the original Predator, which takes place, of course, in present time in 1987 of that time, not present time of today, but of 1987. So it's a bit of an origin story that's very much linked. You don't really find out which one it's linked. It's linked to one of them. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys, but you know that there's been multiple Predator sequels throughout the years, and this one is pretty closely tight-knit to one of those, and I'm not going to tell you which one, but one that deserves to be connected, I should say. I'll say personally one of my favorites. So yeah, this takes place in the 1700s, and so it follows a lot of indigenous Native American natives in this on this land. What I love about this thing is that it kind of strips down the characters and it shows us our survival instincts before modern technology. That was one of the cool things that I really enjoyed about it. I love that we were able to kind of see, we could kind of anticipate what kind of a final battle this would be, based off of what the characters are given and what they're able to do day to day, their survival skills, and how they're taught to track, and how they're taught to hunt for food, and that thing kind of gives us a balance of the Predator and the human race on this planet at that time, because for some reason in the future ones we don't stand a chance even with our modern technology, but for some reason it works a little better when you strip the man down to our natural habitat and survival instincts. That I really enjoyed about this thing. I thought that was a cool take on man versus alien, man versus machine type thing. Some of the things I didn't like about this thing, because a lot of people are talking like this is one of the better Predator films or the best Predator film since the original, or maybe better than, and I don't feel that way at all, and I'm going to tell you guys why. This film doesn't feel fresh to me, in a sense that the storyline is a bit weak. It doesn't really get interesting for me until the battles come into play, until everyone's up against the Predator, particularly Naru, the main character. When she's come face to face with the Predator, that's when I'm on the edge of my seats. The storyline, however, feels a little like Mulan. You're the girl, so you can't do this. You're the girl, so you're not strong enough to do that. Like, come on, like that. It's not like that story's never been told a billion times to the point where it's just beating a dead horse. I'm kind of over it. We're in 2022. Women are badass enough to do things that they want to do and do things better than men at this point. And so I was kind of like, when I'm watching it, I'm like, I'm not wowed yet. After watching all the reactions online and I'm seeing how everyone's talking about it, I'm like, I'm not wowed yet. I wasn't really moved out of my seat. But that's not saying it's not a good movie. It's decent. It's a great movie. It's a great Predator movie. But that was one of the things I was kind of like, I wanted to throw my hands up, like, come on, we've done this before. Because she was badass and quite better a warrior than most of the guys. I mean, she was kicking ass way before she was fighting the Predator. She's whooping a brother's friend's ass. All these guys are supposed to be like top-notch warriors in the village, and she was like handing it to them, and just smarter overall. Just, you know, I don't know. I wasn't buying that whole storyline, but I did, however, love the fight scenes between Naru. I loved her brother. What was the brother's name? Tabby. I loved him. I love those storylines where like the sister and the brother don't really have much of a rivalry, but they're more of a support for one another. And that's the dynamic that Naru and Tabi had. That was just, I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved, special effects was dope. CG was dope. The way that they kind of changed things a little bit with the way that the Predator kind of phased in and phased out with his cloaking device. That was kind of cool. And yeah, I mean, overall it was cool. There is, however, a bit of, and I'll save that for the end. There's one more thing that I wasn't very keen on, and I hope this isn't a spoiler. I don't want to really spoil things, but there is a scene, and this is kind of in the wrap-up of the final battle. The Predator somehow doesn't understand his own technology. And you will understand what I mean by that when you watch it, because there's a scene that kind of gives you a hint, a foreshadowing of what's going to happen with the Predator's technology, which kind of in the end meets his demise. I didn't like it because I didn't get that. Like, it's the Predator's technology. He would know better. I didn't like that. So I hope that's not a spoiler for you guys who haven't seen it. For those who have seen it, I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to bash it, just being real with how it made me feel. Yeah, other than that, guys, keep your eyes open for the end credits, because there is a bit of a weird end credit scene. If you could miss it, like it's very it's in the hieroglyphics. So if you pay attention to the credits and then the hieroglyphics kind of gives you a rundown of what's going on and what happened in the movie, just watch to the end. And there's a bit of a post-credit scene that I didn't catch. And, you know, talking with one of my buddies, he was like, yeah. And I was like, really? And I went back. Yeah, I mean, other than that, guys, cool tie-in to one of the other Predator sequels, franchise, you want to call it. Pretty cool special effects, very cool fight scenes. Great to see man versus machine versus alien, or whatever you want to call it. But it's not high up on the list for me. I enjoyed it. It was a cool watch. Probably will never go back to it again. My all-time favorite Predator is Part 1. And of course, I am a lover of Part 2. Not like a lot of other people, but I kind of dug it. Yeah, guys, let me know what you thought about Prey. Was it something that you are looking forward to seeing? Have you seen it? What did you think? Like, comment, share. Make sure you subscribe. And of course, for more movie news, television news, and pop culture, make sure you guys check out wearecritics.com. And I will talk to you all later.